always out of breath when these start. Bob, you are muted.
You are muted.
Why am I always muted? Why am I always
Brett's
muted?
head has the Junkies album on it.
Brett, you might want to put us on the other side.
Hey,
If you're able to flip
it's okay. I'm just hiding
thing
over
or
here.
change the view. But yeah, if you're just joining us, if you guys had any idea what goes on right before we go live, you wouldn't look at this group the same again. Mainly that guy drinking out of the mug there. It's out of hand. Well, I almost said afternoon. Good evening, everybody. Thanks for joining us. I am Bob. We're here with Sarah, Kim and Rich, Brent, and the always driving Hector. How is everybody doing? We got a lot of highs in the chat already. Just a reminder, if you are popping up as a Facebook user, please register with StreamYard so we know who you are, because if you're asking us questions, there's a good chance we may not answer the question because we don't know who you're there. But say hi to Tom, Vita, Mark, and 1, 2, 3, 4.
Whoever this person is.
There you go.
Whoever that is.
On again.
So we're here to talk Fright Fest. About a week or so late, but that's okay. Better late than never. And there's a lot
If
going
you're
on.
new, we usually give the park 2 weeks before reviewing, just because that second week, the first week is getting all the kinks out, and by that second week, it's usually running like it should. And we just got to the third week, but we still have many weekends in October left. So this is a good break between the early Fright Fest season and the real Fright Fest season.
Yeah, we had some very nice weather too the first few weeks here.
Yeah, yesterday was unexpected, and that was outstanding. A little warm.
Yeah, it's been incredible.
Visit.
So where do we want to start?
Well, the houses are always
fun.
Yeah.
Okay, except there. So the houses that we have this year, we have Saw X, The Estates at Wretched Meadows, 13th Order, Big Top Terror, Bloodshed, and Gates of Hell. So Saw X is obviously the newest house. I don't know how many of you have had a chance to get through that one. I think everybody here on the stream on the team has all been through that one.
20 minutes.
Yeah, Brent got through in 20 minutes, but I did find out that he went and got in line during the uprising. And when did they open, Brent? You said 5:45?
They were letting people in around 5:48. So that's when I saw the doors open up and people go in the first time.
So it was ready early. It is an indoor house, completely indoor house. So if you aren't sure what the opening times are, the indoor houses open at 6 and the outdoor houses open at 6:30. Less of a factor after the time change, but that's why they can remain darker and open up. So if you've been to the uprising and you can stage yourself at one of the 6 o'clock houses, you can get a jump on getting to houses. Our 2 new Saw is new, and then Escape from Wretched Meadows is reimagined. I did go through Saw. It reminded me of a Universal house. But the IP is really, really well done. There's a lot of detail in it. I haven't watched a movie in a long time, but of the movies that I've seen, I did see representation, and it's completely. I actually had somebody jump out and scare me, which doesn't really happen very often.
I never have seen a Saw, and I was able to pretty much describe the theme and plot of the movies to a friend. He's like, yeah, you pretty much nailed it based on what I saw in the house. And oh, by the way, that house is not at all compromised by outside daylight. So great one to get into at 6 p.m.
Yeah. A lot of rooms, if it's very different I don't want to spoil anything, but it's very different in the layout from what has been there before. It really feels bigger and more expansive. I would definitely not recommend taking kids through this one at all. It is really graphic.
That's kind of screwed up.
You'd expect that from that franchise, but I just have seen. I mean, in in the effort to become very family friendly, I think it's gone to the extreme, and we have a lot of families that are a lot more. It seems like a lot more families and kids with kids staying for Fright Fest. So um, I just there's some that I think kids can go through. I think this one's you have to have like a kid that has already. I just can't see how.
Yeah. For those of you in the group out there, I mean, my daughter's 7, and she went through it, and she likes the other houses, and she said she gave it 0 stars. Does not recommend.
-0.
She's behind me saying -0. So she it was just a little too, I guess, realistic for her. Again, it's a little different than the other houses as far as what the scares are and that type of thing. So with her not being familiar, which understandably so with the movies and stuff, yeah, she did not care for it.
Yeah, so if you're thinking, there's some that like as a stretch, can your kids go through them? There are many that kids can, they can disassociate from the, it's make believe and it's not. And I don't think this one is as easy to do. It's very realistic.
Yeah. And in some of the other houses, although it's not their job not to, you have some scare actors that may not jump out at kids and this and that. And this particular house, these actors have a role to play, and they have to do it. It's not oh wait, there's a kid, I'm not going to do it. I'm supposed to, I mean, it's different than the other houses. So
where others are about like the decor and the setting, this one is a lot about the actors. It very and when we say graphic, we're going to say like as adults and as people who love Fright Fest, I loved it. Yeah, there's no interactive bubble wand part for this one.
No, yeah. And I'm sorry I yelled that into the stream. I thought I was muted when I yelled, "Can I have my bubbles?"
It is a house that is included in all haunt passes with the exception of Diamond. If you have if you have a Diamond membership and you have one house, it unfortunately cannot be used for Saw. Also, keep in mind that sometimes Saw does have to temporarily cease operations, mainly to get they want to maintain all the actors, so you can't just like go without actors. So it did shut down for some periods of time at different, I don't know if some were operational and I don't know if some were, personnel, but there are some times where the line will close and reopen. So if you're in the line and want to wait for it, you definitely can.
Yeah, keep in mind, it's along Sarah's lines. They will, when they go on break, that whole house is going to be shut down for about a half hour.
Yeah.
Yeah. It didn't look easy to get in and out of some of the situations that the people were in.
I didn't think about that.
Completely understandable.
Yeah, it's a mass break. They're still humans. They need breaks.
That'd be interesting if they carried that concept to the other houses at some point.
It would be interesting.
Yeah. And make sure not to rush through. I mean, there's stuff on the walls to read as you're going through, and make sure you kind of keep an eye up to, and not just on what's in front of you. So
I think this is one that's worth going through more than once and really taking your time. You didn't rush through this one. It was really fun to have something completely new. And then the other one that we have that's not completely new, but has a lot of updating is the estate at Wretched Meadows. That one feels much longer than when it was Manslaughter Manor.
Yeah, it seems like there's a few extra turns, but I don't know. I don't know if it's just the new props and decor that's been added that it appears longer.
Yeah. That one I actually think is really effective if you go there first when it's still light out, because the dark is a lot more alarming. I did notice a lot of changes. It has been fairly well staffed in the times that I've gone through that one.
I've noticed this year that there are more actors. Yeah, there will be times when there are people on breaks in houses. There may not be as many, but compared to all the houses I went in last year and the ones I went in multiple times last year, it seems like there are a few more people in the houses than there were last year. So maybe the breaks won't affect them as badly. I know sometimes last year people said there were 1 or 2 people in the house, but I think overall, I mean, it's better.
They're not going to go through and scare every single person every time. So sometimes when people say, oh, there were only 2 people in the house. They only saw 3 or 2, but they may be waiting to go somewhere else or to scare another person in another party. So you aren't going to see every single actor. Does differ from some other places where like Universal, they come out in like even intervals from where they like it's actually more predictable. This is unpredictable. But it did feel like going through an entire home, going through the estate. See, where do we go? We kind of
Or
saw estate.
back, yeah, going.
Should we go back to
Bloodshed. I guess Bloodshed. Yeah.
Went through that
Bloodshed's
one?
basically the same. I
Yeah.
think Bloodshed's basically the same house that it was.
Yeah. Bloodshed is a theme. You know, if you haven't been through it yet, how would we describe the theme for Bloodshed? It's like animals. It's like a barn.
There's chickens.
There's chickens.
There's
Chicken ladies.
There's
and-
definitely chickens.
That is kind of Noodles.
That's Noodles
Slayer.
territory there.
It's like what
Um,
happens in the back of a fast food restaurant when no.
oh no. Yeah, it's a
Oh,
lot of
okay.
it's a lot of like feels like a farm. But
So,
not a
Here
very
we go.
long-
I actually pulled up the Fright Fest guide. So
Okay.
here is how the park describes Bloodshed. Dare to journey through the back road with a dead end to explore the backwoods shed of terror. If you can escape the deep catacombs, you may stumble upon the final resting place of explorers who dare to enter.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who entered Bloodshed before you?
I feel like that one's it's a quick one. It's a nice and easy one. They run through their lines pretty quickly. You know, it's an outside.
Definitely want to wait till it's dark for that one,
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Outdoors. The sidewalk is a little, or the blacktop's a little uneven. So if you have some mobility issues or some sight issues, you want to have someone with you that can help navigate, because there are some parts that are uneven there. But yeah, that's the same. Let's see. Then we go around to Big Top.
Big Top.
Big
Yeah,
Top, I think,
Big
was
Top Terror.
is a big improvement this year.
Is it? I haven't seen it yet this year.
I think there's been the clowns that staff Big Top. I think they have a lot of. They're very into telling a story, and they're very into their characters, and it helps enhance that house.
Every time I've gone through, there's a good number of clowns in there too.
Yeah.
I've never gone through that house and it's been kind of like half filled. They're generally pretty well staffed.
Yeah, and I think there have been times in the past where that one hasn't been, and you can go through it, and it's a fun house. There's a maze. There's some. It's a fun house anyway. A fun house and a fun house. It is one that was adapted into like a Winter Wonderland Fest at one point, but they have the fact that there are characters in there. They bring a really fun energy to that house this year. So bravo to that team.
Now I will say too, and
Fun and scary. Sorry, it's
yeah, fun and scary. And Brent waving that bubble wand spark. That's one of the houses the wand is interactive in.
And from a kid's perspective, I think Bloodshed and Big Top Care are probably the 2 best ones to start a kid with. I know those are, like I said, those are my daughter's 2 favorites. But
I'd even say
Yeah,
this year,
it's
Gates of
scary.
Hell, because it's so lit up. Gates of and there's no one in it.
Yeah,
Um,
Gates of Hell is for the kid. The kids go right through that one. It's not that scary. The strobes are the worst thing for the kids. That's about it.
Yeah,
No, and I
Gates of
think-
Hell is like almost like just looking at a bunch of I don't want to.
Well, it's that last sort of room that you go through.
It used
They can
that
do
room used,
so much in there, and there's that flying animatronic, but that's
Yeah.
about it.
Yep.
yeah, that used to be a wow. Like Gates of Hell, if you haven't been into it, it has basically 3 big sections that you go through. You have that first part with the skeletons, and then you go outside for a bit, and you go into the dark part with the strobe lights. They invite you in, and lots of cool details in there. And then there's that last part that's like the crypt, And it used to be like a really big wow factor. And I just remember going in and it felt like enclosed and it just felt, it feels, it's, the lighting is weird on it. And like you can see the amplifier that's supposed to play. There's, there's no secrets. I don't know if maybe it wasn't finished. I don't know if maybe there are some plans to update that in the future, but that last part is a complete miss to me.
Well, that one is well over 30 years old.
Yeah, that's the original.
Yep.
The Mausoleum of Terror. And I'm sure that it's due for an update, but like I would say that if you have a kid going in for the first time, that's a longer house, but there aren't a lot of jumps in it. I haven't seen very many scare actors back there this year.
Not really, no.
No.
It's kind of quiet, and I think it's an easy one to take kids through.
The one I wouldn't take kids in is 13th Order. That's really bad for the kids. For young.
That one has some good scares.
That's got a really good. Even if there's no actors in there, it's got some good scares.
Yeah.
That one was designed really well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree that out of the houses, aside from the Saw house, yeah, that's the scariest one.
Yep. Yeah, 13th Order.
The teenagers would agree.
And they're still in 13th Order. There's a few of the scenes in there I really wish they would put a couple scare actors.
Yep. Yeah, there's a couple of spots that could
really definitely. Yeah. Definitely a couple of missed opportunities.
Good place this year in that one. She does a great job. One that kind of reaches out from under.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So those are the houses. I mean, it's really nice that there's always something new and there's always something familiar. I would say that if we went around and said favorite and one that needs to get an update, I would say that I like Saw the most. And then I think that it's time for Gates of Hell to get some TLC. What about everyone else?
I like Saw, but I think 13th Order is really the best so far yet. And Gates, that absolutely needs a remake.
Yeah, I'm in that same boat. I've liked 13th Order since they've launched that house, but Saw's a nice addition. My only problem is I've not seen the movies, but I mean, I kind of get it. It's based on sort of torture, and seeing what's going on there. And here's a little, I'm not sure if I'm allowed to share this, but I'm going to anyway. Little inside tidbit on the Saw house. There was a prop that had to be removed at the last minute due to being a fire hazard, a tripping hazard. There was the part of the foot leg that got sawed off.
Oh, I'm actually very thankful that wasn't there.
But,
that's the only movie for Saw I've seen, so I know what that one is from.
So, what, from my understanding, is Gurney, when they came through and inspected, they'd seen that, and that was kind of a fire hazard, so they asked them to remove that from the house.
Removed leg.
Somebody in the chat, and I can't see which user. The estates at Wretched Meadows Court. It is really well. It is really well designed. Again, if comparing it to like other haunted houses that have taken that time to really think through a whole design aesthetic, it falls right up there. It is well done. All right. What else we got for
Scare zones?
Scare zones? Yeah.
We talk about scare zones.
Oh, scary zones.
Can we talk about the missed opportunity of having Mardi Gras hangover lit up orange like a pumpkin?
I mean, they were able to do it for Holiday in the Park. They kind of lit that thing up like a wreath. I don't know why we can't go orange like a pumpkin.
It's orange. Light it up. Put a little something on it. A little like.
I think it's important.
Is so dead.
I think it's important to say too that you got 3 weeks of Fright Fest so far, and every week they're still adding. Those first few weeks are always still finishing decorating. I mean, it's a big task to take from the last week of the season to a week later to be open. And every week you see they've added some new props, some of the old ones that hadn't been out yet. So every week they have added more stuff into the scare zones.
Yeah, we have a lot of big
not completely,
skeleton props.
and still stuff missing. Still like the old impaled people if they'll put those out again or not. But yeah, they have added every week. There's been something missing or something that you've noticed has gone up that wasn't up the week before. So
one thing that I think a lot of people miss, who kind of run in, I know a lot of people get to the park and run in to go to up the uprising, and then they wait till it's closed. You miss the carousel. They have really redone that front of the park, that welcoming with the pumpkin king. The animatronic is working. He's not sitting lifeless into the reflection pool. But in addition, when he comes up, there are some skeletons that rise up at the same time in the reflection pond. So it's a little show how often. They had a sign for how often.
Yeah, right. It says every 15 minutes on the hour on the sign up front.
Okay.
But the bubble wands are interactive with that area as well. So if you got those, it's nice to.
Yeah, maybe we should start with the bubble wand. We should go. We are fans of the bubble wands. They are interactive. There's an interactive mode. You can tag people. A lot of the street actors, they enjoy them too. So it's a fun way to interact with them.
So some like to eat them.
Some like to eat. Some like to play with them. They're great, and they do. There's a way for you to put it turned off, and there's also a way for you to put it in interactive mode. So as you're walking around, it'll light up different colors based on the different area that you're in. And then in the shows, they're programmed to go off at different times. So when we have Love Potion and Love at First Fright, here comes all the bubbles.
And then they're $30. Member discounts apply, and they are selling refills for the wands. The refills, there's no discount on those, but they're only like $1.59.
And you can use your own bubbles at home.
Like $1.19 even. It's
We made it through.
Yeah, they're not much.
Yeah, three visits on one cartridge of bubbles. So the discount right now is not applying automatically, but they're aware. They all
there's a bubble refill.
Ready. The bubble wand
and how much you use depends on how many people are tagging. How much you're playing tag with them.
Yeah, they're fun. I think while they're not a no boo product, they're not like anything. A lot of adults use them. For my son, who's getting used to walking around, it is something that like just gives him a little more confidence just holding it, because he could release bubbles if he needed to. But they're really fun, and the more people who have them, the more fun they are.
Yeah, one thing about the tag mode, they are now making an announcement in Ringmaster's Cabaret that they are asking you to do not use it as tag in the theater because it's causing some issues with the Ringmaster show.
Yeah.
So it's okay when it goes off interactively, but they don't want, if you've got your two kids sitting next to each other, they don't want them tagging.
Yeah, and
just make sure they don't pull that little handle.
That trigger is very sensitive, so instructing them to hold under the trigger so they're not touching it because it's very sensitive.
Brent, you're doing a great job there demonstrating for everybody. It's a good thing you bought your wand up.
There you go.
And my son, yeah, I do think with having a lot of kids, it is something that at least if it gives them confidence, even though we're not ever going to promise that it would be used as not scaring, it's a fun addition. And I think us adults have enjoyed having them on too. I know I tagged Heather the other day. But yeah, scare zones. Do we have any? I don't think we have any new. I think we have this. No, there's no new scare zones. Bob, we can't hear you.
Oh, muted.
Muted.
Okay.
No, but you're right. It is. They are the same scare zones that they have. So we have what do we have? Wretched Meadows, Demon Lair, Henchman Alley, Nightmares, Underworld, Forbidden Forest, Lost Souls, Lost Circus, and the Ride Cemetery is considered a scare zone as well, according to the park map.
There are significant places where you can walk and not be in a scare zone. There are places that don't have any scares, and there is no, I know no one on here does it, but there's really no reason to. I think the biggest concern is for not just the actors, but also the guests, the people who will like scream and run through these scare zones only to run back and scream through them and knock people around at the same time is getting old. I would appreciate, especially as the midways start to get busier, I would appreciate if maybe those people are told that maybe their visit at the park is done. Because between all of us here, raise your hand if you got hit hard this week.
I got hit in the face twice yesterday.
I
I
had
have
someone
bruise on my elbow.
across my lap.
Yeah. And it's just,
Yep.
we don't see that behavior at other parks with haunted houses. I don't, or other parks that have scare zones. And our scare actors aren't really chasing. They just are doing their thing, going back and forth. I mean, maybe there's a little bit of chasing in the in
Forbidden Forest, yeah.
but like if you run through and you're scared, I understand. It's the people who are running back and knocking people over. That's where we're running into problems.
Yeah,
Yelling at the scare actors only to run the other way from them. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah. The one spot I do like is when you're in Underworld because it's one way.
Yes.
yes.
Maybe that's something that should be considered. And it's hard because our park is a circle.
Yeah, I was thinking about that before the show, and I was like, we really can't force it one way when you're moving in a circle. I mean, unless you were to force traffic only one way around the park, but
That's hard to do that too.
that's really hard to try to manage.
I think it reduces the crowds with that being one way in Wretched Meadows too, because some people make the circle and go around Wretched Meadows and then go out the other side as opposed to coming back through Wretched Meadows. So I mean they can, but I think less people do it because of having to go one way through Underworld. It makes the area less busy.
But yeah, Sarah, you're muted.
Sarah, you're muted.
Sorry, there was some back.
Yeah, somebody's
going
not,
in,
I don't know. One of us is back feeding. I'm just not sure who.
Yeah. I was making sure it wasn't me.
Oh,
Yeah, I think there just needs to be some enforcement that if you can't handle your body, like what I'm seeing isn't a reaction. I can understand when someone's afraid and they react and they run away. I can understand like that's something you're not in control of. What we're seeing right now is a big act and a big
Yeah.
and what it's doing is it's becoming a really big safety issue. I shouldn't be sitting here with a bruise on my arm from some kid who walked up tough and then decided they were all going to run and like chopped me, running away from somebody who like props to her for getting somebody to run away from her, but it really wasn't necessary at the time. People shouldn't have others in the lap. We shouldn't have to worry about shorter people. I don't know. It's all performative, I think, and there needs to be a way to stop that.
There's a reaction and there's a TikTok reaction.
Yes.
Seeing the TikTok reaction.
Yeah.
And that TikTok reaction is they're walking up to the scare actor with a camera filming, and then the second the scare actor looks at them or turns a chainsaw or whatnot, then they go running, filming while they're running away. So it's they're not scared.
Yeah.
They're getting views.
And then they're walking right back into the area and doing it again, or another friend is doing it.
Take two, take three. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really like that's what happened when the group knocked me over is then I see them come walking back So if you were really scared, just keep walking when there aren't any scare actors. And they're running it again, or like, and then some of the things that are being said to scare actors are really, there is a policy that says you're not to mock scare actors or to harass, and that's happening a lot too. And I just think that maybe there needs to be, in addition to the escort, there needs to be someone with a little bit more authority to make some decisions to make people move on to another area, or maybe on out the park. Somebody said they saw Knox walking someone out of the park. Was that you? Yeah. Oh, I picked up a girl's phone that was doing that and never came back. I handed it to security. Should have made a TikTok.
I will say yesterday we had one major like wipeout in front of us. They initially crashed into my parents, sending dipping dots flying everywhere, which then proceeded to send a vape pen flying across the ground and sunglasses that still had a tag on them. They never came back for any of it. So I turned the vape pen and sunglasses over to the escort that was standing in there.
And see, those, I think maybe they actually were scared. I get that. It's the ones that go back and forth.
Yeah, and I will say, if we get anyone trying to post those types of videos, we're just pulling those on. I'm not making any idiot out there TikTok famous. It's just not going to happen in our group. Do it somewhere else.
Yeah. But well done for our scare actors on the Midway. We have a lot of respect for what you go through.
Oh, yeah.
And we think that you're doing a great job interacting, and especially having so many younger guests this year. Having a good balance between making your scares and being respectful. Okay. Generally speaking, the leads have been standing in the middle of the walkway asking groups to slow down. Leads asking groups to stop trolling their area. Oh, yeah. We're going to give... It can't be easy. And we know that they can't get everyone. We appreciate that. It's good to hear that that's happening. Very, very nice. So since we're kind of in the back of the park, should we go to Oktoberfest, or should we talk?
Sure, we can talk Oktoberfest, and then we'll tie that into some of the other food offerings. But
Heather wants a shout out for Crispy the henchman.
What's up, Crispy?
Shout out to Crispy.
All right, so let's talk Oktoberfest.
Oktoberfest.
And ironically, Brent sort of made a post earlier today on some Oktoberfest, so I'm going to just let Brent start talking here.
Oh, here we go. So I went through and rated it a little bit, and I talked to some of the other junkies about some of the things that had more coverage. So I was kind of picking on some of the more supporting crew of the second or third menu item. I did do the meatballs, and the meatballs were outstanding. Now, I love IKEA meatballs, first of all. So someone out there who's like a real foodie and is going, oh, those are terrible. Well, then guess what? You're probably not going to like these either. But I think IKEA meatballs are the bomb. And then these things were just like that. They were just super soft, good, fresh. They weren't the frozen ones that I could probably pull out of my freezer right now that expired in 1984. They are just really good. And then they came with this sauce, and I didn't know what to make of the sauce because it said wine. What was it? Wine something.
White wine. Is it just a white wine reduction sauce?
I can't remember the name of it exactly here. I'm trying to see if I can find that picture. But in the meantime, I didn't know what to make of this thing. And then the taste was great. It was just not something I expected. And I don't know, maybe one of our food people who knows what really went into that is going to say he was so wrong. But I was getting like this tart lemon overtone with the meatballs, not two things that I would have put together, and really good. Really
Brent,
good.
Just so you know, it's a white wine caper sauce.
Capers. Okay. All right, that's where that. I'm gonna have to try those. Those sound really good.
It was.
I had them also. They were good. I did kind of taste the wine. I got them last weekend though, and so maybe there's a consistency in there. But yeah, no, I thought they were really good as well.
Yeah. So that was one that I want to hit. I moved on to hit again, I moved on to the beer cheese. Am I going to say this right?
Spetzel.
Spetzel. Spetzel. Okay, rhymes with pretzel with chicken. And now I didn't know that I had had this my whole life growing up because my grandmother would make this because they never said the name of it, but this was something that she would make. And it just, I had this like major epiphany moment when I ate it. And I was just like, oh my gosh, I haven't tasted this for years, but that was what I was tasting. Another a really good piece that was, fourth on the menu. You might not, or third on the menu. You might not be the first thing you run up and grab, but
Yeah,
just
I
great.
had that. It's a mac and cheese that doesn't dry out, like a noodle. It's a cheat. It's not really mac and cheese. It's like
Like an egg noodle, yeah.
Yeah, it's a thicker egg noodle, and then somehow it's not drying out. It has some very tender chicken in it. So the chicken, it's not chewy, but it's so tender it just like falls in your mouth. And then they put the beer cheese on top of it. So it really is a nicely composed dish. And it's the
And-
perfect, we have heavier food here at Oktoberfest, but it's a perfect size portion where you don't think they're not being cheap on you, but you're also not throwing it away because you have too much. So it's perfect.
Yeah, definitely. You could go through four punches on that card and be miserably full. So, I really enjoyed that.
I would say the best deal on if you have two people, and you get a card with the two beers. I think that's probably the best deal because that's what, $60. And so, like at the park, for getting a beer for 60 or for $10 each is not bad. I think the $5 comes off of the membership of that too. And then you each get 3 punches. I think that's perfect because it's heavier food.
Yeah. It's just so no one thinks I'm bought and paid for or anything. I had the potato salad. Now, is this kind of meh? It might just be what I've had my whole life.
I agreed. Last year, the potato salad was like a little bit of a compliment to a couple of the sausage dishes. And it was a good, like, extra cold taste. But getting the whole potato salad,
didn't
it
do
was
much
kind of
for
like
me. It wasn't
runny.
bad.
Yeah, it's not bad, but I'm not going to waste a punch on it. It's
That.
something that just needs to be a taste on the side.
And then the last thing I touched on was the apple strudel. Just would have been too easy to pick any of the pretzels or the chocolate cake, which someone commented that the chocolate cake was outstanding. So now I do have to try that. I think I'm going to go back for meatballs and chocolate cake. What a combo. And but this apple strudel, first of all, I always see Lewis and he's always so enthusiastic. So he's up there saying hi and he's just decorating the heck out of this thing with the caramel sauce and the cinnamon sugar. So it's always nice seeing such enthusiastic food service people. But then this was a good one. And, initially in the back of my head, I'm like, okay, McDonald's apple pie, Hostess apple pie, whatever. But no, it is not a bomb of high fructose corn syrup. It is a legitimate, good, balanced strudel.
I agree with you, Brent. I went over to get the chocolate cake and ended up getting that instead, and I was glad I did.
Yeah,
it was really good. And there's 3 of them, so you can share it with somebody. If you're had your meal and you're full, you get 3 like strudel sticks. So
strudel sticks, yes.
Am I remembering there's like a Black Forest pretzel as well?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was all covered with chocolate and all sorts of things. I can read you the description here.
Yeah, I had that the first week of Oktoberfest. I liked it. From a photo perspective, it's not the most appealing looking item on the menu, but it was really good.
It's a Bavarian pretzel with raspberry sauce, chocolate glaze, and Oreo crumbs.
Somebody said I had the kielbasa. I enjoyed the kielbasa. They need to remember to give you a knife because they kind of do a fancy cut and then you can't get through it. I think pierogies are somebody's commented they're between good and okay. It's very difficult to serve a pierogi and have it be the right texture in this kind of environment. And I had the pierogies last year, had the same kind of feeling that it's just hard to have them in the right texture and like keep them steamed right.
It's definitely best when they're fresh, when they first bring them out.
Yeah.
Like, if you have to wait for them, they're definitely better when they first come out.
Yeah, I think it's just one of those dishes that I personally will pass on in the future. I love a good pierogi. But it's just so hard for them to get it right if it's been sitting at all.
And Dana's not on the call. Her favorite is the bratwurst with the sauerkraut. She gets that like every time.
And
She said
that
it's so
curry
good.
ketchup.
So
I need some of that curry ketchup just bottled up. It's really good. I had yesterday I tried it was the veal. What was that? The Wiener Schnitzel.
That was my favorite.
That was very tasty. They gave me 2 on there. I couldn't finish them, but I got a little bit of the mustard and the yummy ketchup. So it was nice to have a choice there with a little lemon. It was good. Monday's a good day to try Oktoberfest. So I was looking forward to coming Monday. It's just like a great atmosphere too. They've had some live music over there. They have yard games that you can play.
Giant Jenga and
Yeah.
Giant Connect 4 and bags. Yeah, you're out there in the chaos of Fright Fest. You're constantly in motion. You're jumping around, getting scared, and then just a couple steps into a block party, and you don't even feel Fright Fest around you anymore.
Yeah, they've got merch this year. So if you haven't had a chance, they were giving away a magnet with a merch purchase. I don't know how many they have left. The merch is kind of funny. It's like play on some of the German words like schnitzel and what's the other one?
Worst behavior.
Worst behavior.
Worst behavior.
And then you can get a big stein. So if you don't want the plastic stein that can come with the punch card, if you get a sampler, you can purchase the ceramic stein.
And you do get refills on beers in both the ceramic stein or in the plastic one, so it's
like a $3
like $12.99, yeah, instead of so.
But as far as like again with you, so it's $39.99 for a sampler, which is 6 punches, and that's a lot of food. I think that's easily for 2 people. And then if you want to add one of the Oktoberfest steins, it's an additional 10, and 2, it's an additional 20, but it comes with 1 pour into it. So there's nowhere else in the park where you can get a beer or a cider for $10, and then you get to keep the little stein. Yeah, the magnet is pretty nice. You can buy the same kind of lederhosen and hats that the culinary staff wears. So if you're looking for, to really do Oktoberfest, you could look the part. What are the hours Monday? It's an 11 to 7.
That's Monday the 7th, right? Not this, or it's next month. Is it this Monday coming up or next Monday?
Monday coming up.
Monday's the 9th. Yeah.
Monday coming up is the 7th.
Oh, I guess that is the 7th. Okay. Yeah. Forgot today was Monday already, so
11 to 7.
Yes, 11 to 7.
And that would transition us over to Boo Fest, which has been expanding this year, which is right across from Oktoberfest. And Corinne helped us with the Boo Fest. If you have never seen a little bit of the old Wilderness Theater, you can see it if you go to the back of Camp Cartoon and do the trick-or-treating between 1 and 3. That will not be on Monday, but I don't think. Saturday and Sunday, you can go to the back there. It goes behind Camp Cartoon, across the old Wilderness Theater, which we used to see in the old necropolis, and then back around by Loggers Run, and usually has 3 or 4 characters back there handing out some candy. Then there's a hay maze for little kids.
Yeah,
now the story time's been moved to Hometown Park.
Okay.
From the story time has. They still have the hay maze back in trick or treat on Monday.
Ooh, fantastic.
For the trick or treating, try to get there before at least 2, because that line gets really long because there's only like 3 characters and everyone tries to take pictures with them. And the line gets really long. We've been at the very first day, and they literally covered up the candy and took it away at 3:00. They didn't shut the line down or anything. We were all standing there. They just put the lids on and walked away with them all.
Do we know if that's still continuing? Because that just
I don't know. I
Okay.
didn't bring it up to somebody, so I don't know if they're still doing it or not.
That could be a training issue.
Yeah.
'Cause that's not normally if you're in line, you close, somebody should stand at the end of the
Yeah.
line.
I don't know what they're doing now, but I'm just saying the line does get really long because the next weekend we were there and it was really long behind us, and we were there at like 2:00 and it was really long still.
It kind of reminds me of when the trick-or-treating was in Roaring Rapids with the way that the characters are set up, but because it's a shorter distance, that's how it gets backed up. You don't have to take 4 characters rotating 2 at a time. They're really great. The characters are in their costumes, and they're really great backgrounds.
Well, I need to borrow a kid now so I can go through this.
They took the barrels. We were
No,
there yesterday.
no kid required, but Eskimo volunteer.
All
We
right.
were there yesterday, and they did not have any closing down the line. They just took away the barrels, and that's sad to me.
Yeah, they literally we were standing there waiting. We had our bags in their hands, and they just threw the lid on and carried it away, and was just like, what? And Richie got all upset because, of course, he couldn't get his couple pieces of candy, but still, it was like we stood in line waiting, and it was like 2:30 when we first started getting in line, and there was tons of people behind us.
For everything else in the park, if you're in line before that time, like if you're in line for a ride before it's supposed to close down, they run through the line.
Guaranteed.
If you're in line for a restaurant, they run through the line.
I think part of the problem is that those actors, though, are also scare actors. So they have to leave at a certain time to go back and start getting.
Not 3.
That's true. It's literally, unless they're given that
Not
break in
3.
between. I don't know, but
Even so,
Even then, you have someone go shut the line down at 2:40.
right. That's what I'm saying. That's what they should do is cut the line off at some point and let those people in line through. But
it's definitely not guest first to have a new event like Boo Fest that's newer. A tradition of having trick-or-treating, which we've never had this issue before of we shut we roll the candy out if there's a kid standing right there. To have everyone in line leave with a sour taste in their mouth, just, and sad kids, over something that probably would legit only take an extra 15 to 20 minutes to run through. And it's not like they've ever run out of candy. That's really sad to hear. I hope that that's something. I see somebody sent some feedback. And I understand that people need lunch breaks and setting up, but operational things like that shouldn't come at the expense of a child. And we teach our children that they need to wait in line. And if you wait in line, you're going to, if you're telling a kid, wait in line and you get candy, and then you say, oh, no candy. It's adding this stress to a family that doesn't need to be there. And you don't know if any of those kids in that line are have needs where they're not going to understand that.
Yeah, no. I mean, you think maybe they could use somebody who, even if it's not one of the people who has to take a break to go, that's a scare actor, or even if it's not a character, they could have somebody else go out there and just hand the candy out until that line's gone.
The lines don't close themselves off. I know that. But a person at the end, oh, I'm sorry.
Yep.
We need to wrap up for the day. We're not accepting anyone else in line. That's all it has to be.
Yep.
Right.
That is fine. You can't accommodate everyone. I think there's a big difference between, leave when the line goes away. Well, the line would never go away.
Right.
But there needs to be someone at the end that just says, I'm sorry. Because to me, if somebody's waiting at that line, they should have a reasonable expectation that they get to experience that attraction.
Or at least have someone saying, you may not get through. So, don't wait. If there's a chance you may not get through, I may decide to not wait and do it some another time.
Yeah, I just think they need to then, if they are going to pull that candy, then you have a person stand at the end of that line at 2:40 or at 2:30, whenever you just have a person
That was my suggestion to somebody. I was like,
Yeah.
well, you need to have somebody there. And this was the very first weekend that happened, I think.
Yeah, we did that opening day.
Yeah.
We gave that suggestion.
It just feels heartless to like, I heard from even someone else that candy that somebody would be halfway through the line, like already through in between, say, station 2 and 3, and they just pulled it. It's not nice. There's a way to plan ahead to make it work so your staff can get ready for the evening and you can take care of the guests that are in your line.
Yeah, I thought it was taken care of because we were planning ahead. We were trying to get ahead so we didn't have that problem again.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't know it was still going on, but I did bring it up right away when it happened.
Even a sign that says the line closes, the line closes at 2:30. If you need everyone out by 3, close your line at 2:30. But that needs to be a person there and closing it off. But I hope that continues to be I think on Monday will be a great day to feel like the family atmosphere during the day to really sell that. Having Boo Fest going, we saw that there might be some shows running.
Yeah, it looks like what the confusing part though is in the description for the added Monday event. It's on the tip of my tongue what they're actually referring to it as. It says no shows, but if you scroll down the listing of events and kind of the timeline for the day, Love at First Fright is on there for at 2 different times.
Okay. And sounds like it'll be fun. I have to work. Oh, who's that?
Little Monster Monday.
I love that branding. So let's not make any of our little monsters cry. Okay, Six Flags? No disappointed little monsters. Let's take care of them. Yeah, Monday but there is no uprising. There are no scares.
Nope.
No haunted houses.
No houses. Yeah.
Well, they close at like 6, don't they, Monday?
I think it's 7.
It might be
11 to
7.
7.
I think I might have enough time if I've finished all my homework. I can stop in on the way home.
You'll have Camp Boo, Boo Town Park, Boo Line Railway.
That'd be a good time to ride the train.
Yeah. Booyah Parade, and Love at First Fright.
Be looking on my app. Because Monday is a holiday for many Illinois schools, expect Sunday night to be rather on the busy side. It traditionally has. And if the weather's nice, it will be even. Yeah, 11 to 7 on Monday.
Plus, this weekend on Sunday is when they'll actually have it closes at 10 starting this weekend. So on Sunday, so they'll have witching hour on Sunday night.
Yeah, I was thinking last night. I was like, the early Sundays are like the worst time to go to Fright Fest because you really only get 3 hours of Fright Fest. So from here on out, it makes more sense.
Yep.
Daytime characters. We love the daytime characters. Plus monsters. That'd be nice. Just all in all, let's see. Oh, specialty Fright Fest food and drinks.
Yes. Lots
Gotta
of
love that blood. That blood.
We love the blood banks.
I was at school today working in the lunchroom, and there was a kid drinking out of a blood bag, like juice. But I'm like, wait, where did you get that? So they have some juice box options too out there in the world.
Yeah. So for those who don't know, the blood banks, they come in 3 different flavors. One is red, one is green, and the other is purple, I believe. I've had the red one. I know Jamie's and Kim might have sampled
the red one.
$16.99 a pop. There are no discounts.
Nope.
But I love, and I'm sure other people have noticed, between last week and this, they decorated the bar
Big Lou's, yes,
to like be Dracula's nightclub. And I mean, all through the night last night, there were people, including families, just like doing party dances in there, doing Cupid Shuffle, those kind of things, party dances in Dracula's nightclub. So it's pretty cool in there.
The bartenders are incredible. They love the bubbles. We walk in and blow the bubbles for them.
Yeah, that is like that's a place, if you have not checked that out, that's worth checking out. It is family friendly place to check out, even though it's a bar. It's like a dance club. It's amazing. This is the bar at Big Lou's in
Big
Orleans
Lou's.
Place.
Yeah, and you get the full blown club experience in there when that music's pumped. If you're trying to order a drink, it's a screaming match between you and the bartender trying to communicate. I mean, it's full blown club. If you're used to ordering, a drink in any kind of nightclub, that's my
Lucky
only
for
comment.
me, they now know exactly what I want.
I saw someone put the graveyard pudding. That is my go-to. I really love that graveyard pudding. It is
I'll have to try that Friday night.
Primo's Pizza. It just, now they apologize because it didn't have worms. I don't eat the gummy worms anyway, but they're just decoration. But I mean, it's like worms and dirt, but the layers just keep getting more complex to the point that there must be some like milk chocolate shavings at the bottom. It's very rich. It looks like it's small, but like somebody said that they couldn't finish it. It's something you can easily share, even though it's small. It is delicious. And let's see, I had what do they call the crepe? The scary crepe?
Creepy crepes.
Creepy crepes. I had creepy crepes are over and these are on the dining plan, so it's kind of cool. They are snacks, but if you come in later and you've used your lunch and you have the 2 meal and you want to use your dinner for one of these, if you're on a new meal plan, definitely worth it. Creepy crepes are strawberry and chocolate. Oh,
this is just the
alien blood
rundown from Laura.
There were some other potions too that aren't in blood bags, right?
Right. Yeah. There's some other specialty drinks.
The witch's brew and what was embalming fluid, and I don't remember the third one.
And those come in like the souvenir cups, right?
Some apple or something.
Oh, apple. Okay. I have not tried this. You tried the spicy pizza, the sauce.
Oh. Yes, I had both pizzas.
Pizza was good.
Pizza Orleans, you get the zombie brains, which is pizza with Italian beef and hot giardiniera.
That's really good.
There's a lot of flavor. It's delicious. That one is on the meal plan. However, if you go over to the food court, the pizza joint there, they have the slaughter pizza. I had that one as well. That is just as good. The chipotle barbecue sauce on there has a lot of flavor. It's got a little bit of a kick.
And that one's a vegetarian option, correct? It's just
no, there is bacon bits on there and ground beef.
Never mind.
Yeah, definitely. It's like the opposite.
I thought it was just peppers.
No, and it's got red and green bell peppers on it as well. But that one's not on the dining plan, but your discounts do apply for it.
Yeah. Somebody said there's a dragon. So there is a dragon turkey leg. That is where the turkey legs are. I have not. I'm not usually a turkey leg person.
Chili. It has a Thai chili sauce on it.
And yeah, La Grill. What we're seeing, La Grill is definitely I miss my turkey burger, but that chicken shawarma is good.
It's very good.
The garlic, you might want to have maybe some kind of mince with you if you have that the garlic spread. It's delicious. I think a great snack would be just the pita chips and pita with the garlic spread, but it will linger.
It'll keep the vampires away, though. So
it will keep the vampires away. Maybe have that and go over to Dracula's club.
Yeah, there's some other specialty things too. I haven't really seen too much on Mom and Pa's. I know it has some hot dogs.
Ooh,
That they're
what do
having.
I didn't try their hot dog yet.
I know there's one that's got like, I think like bacon and cheese on it, and
Okay. Knox nachos.
Knox nachos
yeah.
at JB's, along with Ringmaster wings.
I want to try that. And then they have some kind of like, they do have a deep fried Oreo at JB's. Wings and deep fried Oreos not on the meal plan, but discounts apply. Mommy hot dog.
There was some kind of
one someone showed, and it
fry over at Mom and Pop too.
Which one? Oh, fries
with bacon on it.
Like Mom and Pa's over by where Oktoberfest is, like in front of the area. There was like a pulled pork fries with
Like
bacon and cheese on them. I don't remember what they were called.
So we're not gonna go
Frankenstein fries.
Frankenstein fries, maybe.
What did there was one other. Just had it in my head. Oh, walking taco with flaming hot Cheetos in it. It's like a flaming hot. I thought I saw that one.
And we can't forget the most important one, the pumpkin funnel cake.
There's a pumpkin funnel cake, and now there's another funnel cake to compete with it that's
one.
got the M&Ms on it.
The ghost one.
Unimportant. Only pumpkin.
We have someone looking for a black bean burger. Don't they have a black? I know that they had a black bean burger wrap at Bourbon Street. I don't know if that's still there, but do they have a black bean burger at JB's and Grill Burger?
JB's.
JB's has a. So a lot of options. I like the addition of options that are named after some of our iconic characters. Those are fun. I think we haven't talked about shows.
No, we haven't. So the two main shows, we have Love at First Fright and Ringmaster. Love at First Fright, for those who've gone and those who might not have gone and who don't know because you've been under a rock, but we now have a new witchy.
They're both shows get reimagined every year. They get updated, but like this was kind of a nice refresh for both of them. Some differences in
doing an incredible job, and I love that they gave her costume. That it's not.
Jamie, you're kind of fading in and out. I don't know if anyone else can hear Jamie.
Oh, is that why I had my hand over the mic?
Oh, there you go.
I like that her costume is different. She's doing a great job. She's killing it. I just love that that they didn't put her in the same costume.
Yeah, she came in there and she made that show her own. She wasn't going to try to fill the previous witch's shoes. She made that her own, and she's owning that role.
Yeah,
she's killing it.
I love that this show, Love at First Fright, I saw the first weekend, and then I wasn't at the park last weekend. I saw it again this weekend. There were changes based on current events between the two times that I saw them. And changes in some of the jokes as they try them. So that was really cool for them not to be the same both times. I don't personally understand a lot of the Taylor Swift stuff, but it's okay. It just tells me that I'm old now.
I feel like that show is so vocally solid too. We have a group member that went to St. Louis and saw their version of it, and they were like mortified. But just there's such strong talent in both shows, but specifically that one because there's so much that goes into the vocals for that.
I would have to agree. I would say that in this one, they really, the strength is great, and where people are placed in their ranges, and it feels very musical theater and very strong and very professional, and props to them. Well done for that cast.
Yeah, they all it just gels like that.
Yeah.
It's a well-oiled machine, and Tom
There's
Burns
not
is
a weak
running
there's not a weak link to that show at all.
Walk This Way.
Oh, it's
It's TikTok.
It's definitely TikTok.
if you spend any time with little boys,
Teenagers, anybody.
it's yeah, that spoke to them, and I will have to be careful because he's gonna say, "Don't talk about me." I have a little guy who doesn't like to go to the park very much anymore, and he sat through Love at First Fright yesterday and sang along to the whole thing. It really like spoke to him, and it just brought something out in him. So, if anyone's watching, thank you for that because he had a really great time, and he normally is like, I don't want to go to the park. I'm so bored. But like he was singing every word, and it was great.
That's awesome. And then, well,
He did.
anything else on Love at First Fright before we jump over to Ringmasters?
Well, if Love at First Fright has the singers, I would say Ringmaster has the dancers plus the singers. But they have some. It's just a different style. Like they have great singers, but they're singing like in a completely different style. And this one has had some major changes.
Yeah, four new songs in Ringmaster Cabaret.
This one feels like a new show, but very familiar at the same time. And I really think that they've stepped it up.
And some great lighting. I brought this up a few people before. One thing is sometimes it gets a little bit on the dark side in there. If you're trying to do anything with like an iPhone from photos and you're in the back, you're going to be blurred. Our photographers of the group who come in with the professional cameras, they don't have problems.
Get a Samsung.
But
save yourself the trouble.
No, ooh, a Samsung. Ooh. No. That's gross.
I would say that there are so many photos of that show in our group that just ask somebody if you can borrow some of their pictures. I would ask that anyone who wants to record the whole thing, maybe you sit a little further back so the whole theater doesn't have to see your phone like this the whole time.
I thought it was great yesterday at Ringmaster. I don't know if it was one individual, there's a couple, but there was a sign language interpreter at the show.
It'd be nice to have some of those scheduled. Didn't we have that before? Or was that Deaf and Hard of Hearing Day that we had somebody? Or one year maybe we had somebody all the time, right? Or was it just one?
I just remember the one day for the deaf and the hard of hearing.
Oh, because he was the same interpreter that we saw on lots of the press conferences, right?
Yeah.
Okay. It would be nice to know, maybe have some scheduled ahead of time, like that could be advertised so our friends who are deaf and hard of hearing could know which days to go.
Yeah, I think this was like a group visit in the park and they had their own interpreter that came with them, but it was awesome. She was kind of in the aisle a little bit. The dancers were great getting around her, so she was able to keep doing what she needed to do. But it was pretty neat to see. She had her light. I don't think it was distracting at all, and she kind of kept out of all the guest way, and it was perfect.
I actually find that I love when the interpreters are there to see how it translates and try. And I don't know sign language at all, but even just seeing how they express it is really cool.
Joey's joined us.
Those who are looking, is obsessively annoying tonight.
For those unaware who have been used to the Ringmaster's concept, it used to be like the Ringmaster at introducing his assistant Alice. That character isn't there anymore, which allows them to really just be. I think it allows everyone to be a star in their own way. It's very, the storytelling is different. There are also circus acts in there. They're really cool acts this year.
Yeah, I'm trying. I don't know if we talk about those.
Spoil it.
I'm okay.
Do it. Talk about it.
I mean, yeah,
been
it's been
3
several weeks, so we might as well. But I will tell you what, the girl with the balancing has some. She's got
Incredible.
some strong strength on her.
And dead on aim sometimes.
Oh yeah, that bow and arrow.
No.
What?
Yes, we have someone who does. She's doing. Is it a rope?
Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
rope. She does a little
the
bit of
rope.
contortion. I don't know if you really want to say contortion, but then she gets up on the rope.
Yeah.
And the guy with the rings.
He's got the rings, but then he also has like a globe.
It's a fushigi.
What is it?
A fushigi ball.
Ooh, I learned something new. And then some standard like illusions and magic tricks with the cast. It's just so much fun, and they do go out in the audience, and so there isn't a bad seat in the house for that.
And the bubbles, your bubbles work.
And your bubbles
I don't think
go
we said it
off.
with Love at First. It's the bubbles go off at both shows.
And they're like the lights change colors too, and it'll take it off. Or the other, yeah, it'll take it off at certain times, or like in Love at First Fright, it'll do like the lightning. It's kind of cool. Oh,
Yeah,
the girl in the corner steals the show every time. Very important role. And then I want to yell, I know her. So we are in for the busiest of the weekends, longer hours of Fright Fest, bigger crowds on the midways.
Cooler weather.
Cooler, yeah, it would actually be nice. Oh, we forgot. As it gets cold, Starbucks is open, but there also are s'mores. I've not seen anyone actually get them, but there is and no, it's not included in our membership. But there are s'mores in Southwest Territory by the Mission Bar. That's just kind of a fun fall activity. We should probably do a Junkies meetup there one Sunday night, and I'll just have a s'more together.
There is before we go too far away from the shows. There's one we are forgetting.
Oh yeah, we have this other shows.
Nightmare Rhythm Machine.
Yeah.
And the stage
Monster
Bash. And that's moved. Somebody was commenting like, why isn't it up on the train? It's alongside Grand Music Hall, but I think it's really accessible to the kiddos to have it there and have those.
Yeah, I think it's easier for them to interact.
Yeah. It has a really good place. It's really hard to get to all the show. Like, I think it's impossible to get to all the shows and all the houses in a night, because the shows are going. There's shows going all the time.
So you have to be there
a Friday night. Tough.
That's impossible.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean,
so you got to be there like 1 and do Laugh and Ringmaster before everything starts, so you can do the shows all night.
Oh,
or the houses all night.
Yeah. It's hard. It's hard to. There's so much going on. It's hard to get to everything. And so props for that, to have so many, like have Boo Fest and Oktoberfest and Fright Fest all at the same, like running concurrently, really does make people have to think about going to the park more than once. 3 trips to Fright Fest to see all the shows. I still haven't made it to Nightmare Rhythm Machine.
I haven't either.
I will have to make it to because that's a good one. That one's done at the, of course, the Uprising. We get the Uprising show. Yeah, Nightmare Rhythm Machine is up at the train station stage.
Jamie, have you seen Nightmare?
I did. I saw it Saturday night.
Any changes from previous years that you've noticed?
I think there's one new song.
Okay.
It's not one I see often. So that would have been more of a Zoe question since she lives in front of that show. But and I could have asked Joshua, but he's in bed already too.
No. Now, for the ones out there, Sarah bringing up Starbucks here. When you're looking for that late night meal snack, I know sometimes people are like, well, things were closing down. Starbucks will be open until the park is swept. Okay, so until security is about to kick you out, you can get Starbucks, which for some of us, that's a very important thing.
If you have a drive,
not
So is that a
any of us-
special request for the Bendorfs and the Gonzaleses?
Listen, we have to stay alive somehow, and if we are fueled by like adrenaline and caffeine, this is how we do. Okay.
we actually had a Starbucks.
We actually got home last night because of the time change at 1:40 a.m. and I had to be up to get the kid on the bus at 6. So that was cool.
Yeah, Primo's in Orleans stays open
pretty late.
Yeah.
If you want food, you go on the Orleans side, you're going to be taken care of. At Primo's Orleans, the little cotton candy stand stays open, and you can get some nachos up in the Coke stand in the front.
The chicken place by Bloodshed stays open pretty late too.
Yeah.
Totally
And I think
chicken, yes.
Fiesta Fries stays open. That one's open pretty. I don't know how late, but it's open pretty late. And then Six Below, if you need a treat, that one stays open.
I'll tell you what, that has been coming a late night, last minute meal, and Hector's in the same agreement here. And this is thanks to Brent got us on this, but the chicken tenders in the bucket from Totally Kickin' Chicken. That's like the perfect to go walking.
It
meal,
is.
and it always
And they're like always hot and they're always fresh.
Because they make one thing, and it's always fast too.
Yeah,
like
Chicken.
you want chicken and fries, or you want just fries.
Yep.
It's coming in a bucket either way. Yeah, that is a good one.
My last go-to stop is Six Below to get an ice cream for the walk out to the gate and to visit the wonderful girls that work in Six Below.
Did they turn on the speedy parking gates yet? No. I have not seen it pop up to even purchase as a season add-on yet. I've seen the gates. I saw the gates at Washington. I didn't notice the gates at Grand. I don't know if they're just at Washington. They're still testing it. I mean, that's the kind of thing that's going to be very frustrating if it's not tested. So I am fine with them working on it.
Yeah, because if you're trying to make it speedy and it's not speedy because it's not working, you're reading a plate.
And why is anyone that going to pay $10 on it now for a season when the season's almost over? Or
Well, what I
whatever.
did see, kind of looking at other parks, that $10, it's for the rest of this year and 2024.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, it looks cool. Sometimes it works when I go to the car wash that has it. Sometimes it doesn't.
So they're saying all the way to the left on Grand. There's
Okay. I got in there in 30 seconds. I don't know what you.
I don't know where you got in 30 seconds or what was in
But
30
congrats.
seconds, but congrats.
Yeah,
That sounds quick. I mean, it's Data and I would say fast as fluff. As fast as
Fast as fluff.
But congratulations for 30 seconds.
Congratulations on your accomplishment.
Round of
We'll
applause for that.
definitely. So if you're adding it, be nice to get self-scan kiosks. Sure would. Myth. Washington Street entrance usually less traffic. Myth. Because there's only 2 ways to get in. And if everyone thinks there's less traffic, then you're waiting longer. Yeah, parking has been fast. Yesterday I didn't come in until 3:30 and preferred was still manned.
Big high five to the attendant at that gate. Like they are taking some incredible slack telling people no, and they're handling it with such grace.
I mean, I wish I could remember the name of the supervisor yesterday because I asked as I scanned in, I asked the the attendant in the parking, like, okay, so is preferred still open? And she's like, it's first come serve, honey. First come, first serve, honey. I'm like, no, it's not. And she's like, yes, it is. But then when I went and there was another supervisor there and he's like, oh no, we're making sure we hold it. He was so great and they're being so gracious. But yeah, they're getting a lot of heat. You have to think of the amount of new Diamond members or Diamond passes out there that said, oh, I get preferred, and don't yet know that you need to make reservations. The reservations are filling up. So really plan ahead, and also plan ahead now that they are keeping track. Also plan ahead and be, if you know you're not going to go and you have a reservation, there is a wait list on many of these days. So please consider releasing your reservation if you know you're not going to use it. I know, like Saturday, I released mine the night before when I realized I just wasn't going to go. But those are the kind of things, if you're on the wait list, I have been taken off before, but you could really make somebody's day by releasing that reservation, because it's really hard, like at the end of the day, for somebody to say, no, you can't come in here, the reservations are full, and then they're not. They never are full.
Yeah, and it's great now, when they're pulling up there and they're like, well, I have a reservation. They're pulling comparing the names to the reservation. So, when you're dangling your membership or pass out the window saying, this is my reservation, that's not your reservation. mypass.sixflags.com is where you make your reservation.
On occasion, if you make a very late and or very early in the morning reservation and say they've printed the night before, it's possible that your name won't be on there, but of course you would have your email that would have your name on it and the date, and they'll let you in. But they also want to be careful with that, because there are people, if you've canceled and you show, they're a little reluctant on that, because you would have to then show the time, and if the time was in between, it would be proof. But otherwise, they don't want people making a reservation, getting a confirmation, and then canceling and making another one.
Now, we had a group member the other day say that she received an email that she was canceled.
Yeah.
And a lot of people commented and said, you cannot just show up there. So I wonder how that was remedied, because, I mean, if you have the email and you can say, hey, yes, here it is. Might be dicey.
Yeah, somebody said it's not their fault if they're upset, if they're told first come, first serve by the gate person. That's a training issue to that gate person. And I mean, I'm not going to argue with the gate person. I'm going to be very, very, this was someone with a blue tag. I'm going to be very polite and say, oh, okay, thank you. I haven't had a glitchy confirmation email in a while. It's a learning curve, because all throughout the season we were kind of just you would show anything and they were letting people in, or it wasn't.
Here's my library card. Okay. Yeah. You're in.
But that's the other side. We've all been pushing as a page, and we've been pushing as guests, because please, this is important to us. This is a big perk. Please monitor this. And they're doing that. So we have to get used to making sure you have your reservation. If you don't have it, you might have to park a little far away. But as Fright Fest gets going, that there are going to be times, if we get close to capacity, that if you have a reservation and they've already closed off the parking lot, I don't think you can get in.
Nope.
We had a time last year where we came up on a Saturday. It was late, and we got there, and we were not allowed in the parking lot. We had a reservation, and we had to wait at the Speedway down the road until we got word that the parking lot was back open, and we had to wait. They're really serious about it. So,
yeah, it's just space. How are they going to know once you get in? Then people, we know how that one time last year where all over Gurnee, people were just putting cars places. That's what happens in the parking lot too, is people, if they close off the parking lot and then, oh, I have a reservation, I can get in, but you don't, all of a sudden they've got people just putting cars anywhere, and then you can't get out. And
yeah, Sarah and I had a couple of money-making ideas for that last year. Renting buses and park and ride.
Yes. We could, a lot of places we could park some cars. Yeah. I mean, who knows? Who knows what this season will be? We've had some really healthy crowds. Although within those crowds, some annoying actors. I wouldn't call them bad actors, but annoying. Annoying TikTokers. But we're excited for the real, when it gets really down to it. If you can consider going on the Thursdays and Fridays, you won't regret it. Oh, cars. Yeah.
Yep.
It does make it difficult when people put in Six Flags and they don't notice that they're putting in like Six Flags Human Resources or Six Flags Employee Entrance. And employees can become late to work because of it. It's really, it's not an easy place to turn around. I've been over there dropping off my daughter, and it's bad. And it's really they're not knowing any better, but I don't know how many more signs they can put that says not a park entrance. People don't read it. They don't see it.
I know what we haven't talked about.
What's
Merch.
that?
Merch.
Merch. Oh, this is a good year for merch.
A lot of great designs for the hoodies, the t-shirts.
Yeah.
We have
We
some,
got our 30th anniversary shirts this week. They're cool. They're white, which is very dangerous with all the food options. But you know, not everybody has a hungry shirt. So
We have seen one new pin. It's a glow in the dark skull, and we're hoping we get like a Grim Reaper pin because we've seen it at another park.
yeah, it's our park should have it. They just have the keychains and the magnets, so I'm assuming they sold out on those. I bet we'll get some back in stock.
Yeah. But like some new kinds of merch, jean jackets and Letterman style jackets, the zip hoodie, a lot of white, some horror movie stuff. Like there were some really cool Jigsaw t-shirts. And then somebody had bought Susan had bought like a whole Jigsaw figurine. That was cool.
we found a really creepy Wizard of Oz shirt with them actually holding hearts that we thought about wearing to Espen's play in a couple weeks. Maybe.
Yeah. Obscure has some fun stuff. And like all the stores have something a little bit different. We need to get a little cooler. Tiny with lids. Oh.
Yes, they were up front at Flags and they're so cute.
Like neon colors.
They have a straw.
Oh, I have pictures. I gotta send them.
Yeah, fun. And of course, bubble wands. They have lots of different kinds of bubble wands. The only ones, so I've seen unicorns and dinosaurs, and I see a skeleton, but if you look on the tag for the one that Brent had up, the official Fright Fest one it has like the signal, the Wi-Fi signal type thing. That's the only one that really interacts.
And the Fright Fest logo on it.
Yeah.
Oh, I have it right here. I can pull it up again.
Yeah, just for those who are joining us late, this is kind of Blair Witch with Jamie. That is the official interactive wand.
Bubbles.
Got the bubbles on the bottom.
You can get refills.
Right now, refills are, well, over Sunday, they were running very low on refills.
It's because we bought them all.
I've got some in my backpack, but I have given some to some young children. They're fun. Oh, Great America. There is dated merch this year.
Yep.
A bubble wand takeover. I mean, we'll tag any junkies, not in a show, but out on the midway.
In the midway, we can have, you know, a big old
play
tag fight of bubbles everywhere, but not in the show.
I do feel bad for the people in shows. Like, I think the first weekend when we went, we were the only, my son and I were the only two with the bubble wands in there, and I think the people we were sitting next to were kind of annoyed that they were getting bubbles all over them, but that's okay. We were having fun. Who doesn't love bubbles?
Yeah,
Right?
I had one sitting next to me in Love at First Fright yesterday with his professional camera, and you would have thought that seeing all these kids sitting down on the side of you with bubble wands, and
Oops.
yeah, needless to say, when they first went off, he was swearing under his breath at bubbles, and yeah, he was not happy. But it's like, dude, that's what the show is. If you don't like it, move somewhere else.
Yeah. Any questions?
Yeah, questions from anyone out there. Now this one went,
Yeah.
longer, but it's our review, and there's a lot of stuff to talk about with
We were
Fright.
talking about 3 different events.
Yep.
Again, we're running Fright Fest, we're running Boo Fest, we're running Oktoberfest. So
I think I was listening when I first tuned in, and I noticed they have all the music for during Oktoberfest. What I really missed was the actual Oktoberfest music they had last year.
there was some of that. It just
Was
depends
there?
on the performer. Like I had somebody, he had his accordion out, and then he was doing some things, some more recent songs, and like that kind of like a German bar style. And then
Okay.
when they walk away, they turn on the German music.
Okay.
Yeah, we
I
can.
missed that then.
Laura and I kind of chuckled. It might have been Friday night. The band they had there, he was doing polkas. We're like, that's Polish, not German.
Well,
Yeah.
as long as you got a tuba
It's
in the
still, I mean,
bottom,
yeah,
it's
it worked. I told Laura it worked, and she was
it's not
insisting.
unrelated, but I will
The-
not give an ethnomusicology lecture at this time.
Laura insists, though, the only polka that you can play that
Also,
everyone
fun
knows
fact
roll out the
related to
barrel
Banda
because of
music.
being one of those Packer fans.
Oh, that one. But like when I was listening, when we were there Friday night with getting the beer, they were playing. It was like "Country Girl, Shake It for Me" or something, and I'm like, this just doesn't fit.
That doesn't feel very family park.
It was like a DJ type thing, and I was just like,
No.
And it was
Although
loud.
the
They
guy
had one that was
last
real
year,
loud.
who was instrument syncing everything, I mean,
one group did a one-woman Spice Girl song.
I wish I could have seen that.
We demand a recap.
There's got to be a video somewhere.
it's just a fun. I mean, it is a fun area. I'd like it to get a little cooler to be over there, but it's nice to have that patio that you are transported to another place.
I know, and just think, very soon we'll not only be able to enjoy Oktoberfest, but we can get some smoked barbecue too.
There'll be so many choices over there. They have had Yukon barbecue open for seating, not for serving, other than soft drinks. It does have a self-service soft drink, but it has been open for the seating. It has like picnic bench style in there, and they were working in there. I saw them working some IT.
Any questions?
Any
from anyone?
questions?
Going once, going twice. I know some of you've been. Someone did comment this nice addition over the self-service drinks.
Yeah. Ate my chocolate cake in there. Yeah. The moose does still work.
Yep.
Yes, that's true. It's really roomy in there.
I love the picnic tables.
Yeah.
Has anybody else tried to go out the wrong way 50,000 times?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they've done a great job inside there. Can't wait for the food.
It's going to be hard to decide between Oktoberfest and barbecue.
Don't decide. We do enough walking there. We can have them both.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Well, I think that's gonna do it for the show. I know. Probably next time that we do this, we'll probably recap the season, unless something breaking major comes out that we need to share and discuss.
Yeah. I mean, if you go into St. Louis, they just had a ride open. We talk about our sister groups. They had their first kids coaster open up down there. I forget what it's called.
Rookie Racer.
Rookie Racer.
Rookie
And
Racer.
it's getting big smiles from all the kids that have ridden it and from a lot of adults who have ridden it. So you have a chance to go away and check out their Fright Fest. You'll get a new ride in. And then we'll just see people around the park.
I like that I read that they're saying because it's so short, they're doing like 2 rounds on it.
Oh, that's nice of
awesome.
them. You may stop seeing some of us in the parks on Saturdays. If we think it's going to be super, super busy, you will notice that most of us will be like, no, pass. But
Yeah,
definitely we'll be Friday night people and Sunday night people.
Yeah, if you're probably going to see less posts from us too, saying that we're in the park with pins, because we're just about out of pins, and
Yeah.
I'm down to. I found a couple extra, so I'm still sitting at 8, even though I gave a couple away over the weekend. Jamie, I think, is holding on to that one pin.
We have like 6.
I have like 8 or 9.
Brent has quite a few, so I'm looking forward to sending everybody in a scavenger hunt to find Brent in the park to get a pin. He tried pawning him off. I'm like, no, once I'm out of pins, they're going to come find you.
That's right.
Yeah, so we won't be posting like where we are. We're hoping to do another round of some pins. We need some likes on our Facebook page, on our Facebook, not our group. We need some likes on our Facebook page just to drum up some. If we don't grow, then Facebook doesn't broadcast us enough. So we need to grow. Looking to grow by. So we have 12,000 members and we only have about less than 3,000 likes.
So there's 2 separate entities, all of you people who see the logo in one place and another place. There's the group, which you're in, and then there's the public page, which is like the Six Flags page, but for junkies. It's where our store is at, where you can get cool merch. So go there.
Yeah.
Quick way to find the daily alert because it's not as clogged up as the group.
Yeah, I would say if you want quick information, you want to follow the page. It's much easier to follow just like, what do I need? What's opening? What's available? And then the group is more like discussion and togetherness.
Right. And sharing photos, because you cannot post photos or anything to our page.
Yeah. So if you're wanting somewhere where you can just like, hey, quick, I need the daily alert, please like our page and follow it.
Yes.
It'll be much easier.
All right.
Well, 5,000.
5,000 we're hoping.
Yeah.
All right. So let's wrap this up here. Thank you everyone for tuning in. If you stayed here with us the whole 1 hour, 38 minutes and 45 seconds that we've been on the air, but thank you. If you see us in the park, definitely stop us, say hi. We do not bite. Jamie might bite, but most of us do.
After she's had her blood bag.
After she's a few blood bags in, I would avoid Jamie.
Or don't.
No, or don't. It's fine. Jamie, you know we love you. That's why we're picking on you. You're muted too, so we can't hear you.
All right.
All right. All right. Take care, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.